from Buster Berthy and Maths on the Move, based here in the Peel region in Mandurah. And so amazing to have Michelle speak to us about her work getting everyone into maths through movement and physical activity. So really looking forward to that. Thank you, Michelle. After Michelle, we'll have the second time I've introduced you, Jacinta, whose boss's name is Janine. And so Jacinta is here all the way from Melbourne. So thank you, Jacinta, for joining us here from the Australian Mathematical Sciences Institute, ANZ Choose Maths. And Jacinta is a schools outreach officer who goes up to Karratha and has very generously squeezed in a Peel-to-Peel trip coming down here this evening. So thank you very much, Jacinta. That's enough for me, and welcome Michelle to start us off tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here tonight. I especially love coming to these events because you've all taken time out of your day to basically tell us that you value new learning and new experiences. And that's something I think, especially when looking at that chart that Charlie just showed us, as we get older and adults, unfortunately quite a lot of people stop embracing that new learning and it becomes a fear or even a nervous thing. So well done, first of all, for coming out here tonight. My background is in teaching, 15 years in the classroom, and it's special needs and behavioural needs predominantly. And then I also have a professional background in the fitness industry. So I actually found some very interesting parallels between teaching and fitness. One is that maths often gets a bit of a bad rap, and so do burpees. So hence Buster Berthy was born, and I'm going to mention the word perspective a lot tonight, and it's really, whether we're talking about burpees or maths, it's about perspective. And I think I love that I get to speak to parents because our perspective of mathematics definitely is what we pass on to the children, so we have to look at ourselves first. Just quickly in the room, obviously I can see there's a lot of parents because that's great, you've got the kids here with you. We've got some teachers in the room as well, or, yeah, excellent. So, and obviously a parent as well. So yeah, I'm going to sort of base most of my talk tonight targeting towards parents and just how we can help with our perspective and children and making maths meaningful for kids. As I said, I do have a background in fitness. My program, Buster Berthy, is all about getting kids up and out of the classroom and moving through mathematical concepts, which is very cool. So obviously tonight I'm going to do a couple of little exercises with you. So don't worry, it's nothing too strenuous. But we will just start off with though. I just want to go through, just get everyone to stand up and have a bit of a stretch with me. So if we can all just reach up as tall as we can. I love doing this with kids. Kids will like a little bit of a jump, touch the roof. Now we're going to bend down, put our hands on the floor, bend your knees. You don't have to show me that you're yoga experts. Just step one foot out behind, then your second. Just have a bit of a stretch in this position. Step your feet back in, and breathe in or reach up again. Right, very good. Okay, just go through that one more time, guys. This time just be really conscious of if there's any areas a bit sore, a bit stiff, or even just enjoy having a nice stretch. Especially the grown-ups, we tend to not do this as much. Kids are all over. And reaching up again. Excellent. So now we've had a stretch, we're ready for some burpees.
No.
What I want to say to you there, first of all, one of three things happened then when I mentioned the phrase, let's do some burpees. One, as Jacinta verbalised for us, is your reaction was either, oh my gosh, she's going to make us do burpees. Two, you might be like me, a little bit of a strange perspective and think, yes, I love burpees, this is what I came here for. Or three, you said, I have no idea what burpees, so you kind of didn't really have a reaction to that. So first of all, for the benefit of the people in this room, and remembering my key word tonight is perspective, you all actually just did a burpee. You actually did two. Alright? So a burpee is a full extension of the body, hands to the ground, feet out behind, feet back in, full extension. Now, the fact I didn't call it a burpee, and I said we're going to do some nice stretching and some nice breathing, our perception was that was, some of you might have still felt that awkward, especially if you're in a skirt or high heels or not dressed appropriately for some stretching, but what I'm getting at here is exactly what happens in the classroom a lot of the time when teachers talk about maths, or when we as parents put our children in situations that they feel a little bit stressed or anxious about. So, the first thing we need to quickly understand is that when any of us, adults or children alike, feel stressed, nervous or fear, the front lobe of our brain takes over and sends the messages to our body to get ready for flight. It means our heart rate increases, hairs might stand up on arms, our mouth might go dry. We're ready to run. Okay, now, Unfortunately, when we're in that physical state, we're not taking in any new information. So can you imagine if a teacher in the classroom, no matter how amazing that teacher is, says, hey kids, I've got some great new maths today, we'll teach you some new maths. When you've got a percentage of your class, like on the lovely graph that Charlie made, the Run for the Hills kids are going to sit there straight away and go, oh my God, I'm terrible at maths, something new, I'm not going to get it. Okay, so no matter how amazing your lesson is, if your class has that perception, there's not going to be much new learning taken on. So what our goal as parents or as educators is to try and flip that perception. I use that phrase a lot with us everywhere, flipping the curriculum. I'm flipping maths on its head, literally, getting kids moving to make the movement the priority, not the maths. Okay, so as you know now, burpees are not scary, you will do. I'm not going to make you do burpees, it's okay. Talk a little bit about vocabulary now. So as caregivers of children, whether it be a teacher or a parent, an educator, it's really important how we talk about maths. This was touched upon last night. A lot of adults, I know I grew up constantly with people around me saying, oh, I'm not very good at maths, or I'm not, I wasn't very good at school. And so that if we talk like that kind of our children, that's of course what's leading to them. So let's first of all think about our language. But what I want to do is raise the bar now for the parents. So not just to talk positively about maths, but I want you parents, and especially, it's interesting that we've got some homeschool experts here, this is the beauty of homeschooling, is that we have the ability to show children the direct link between maths and life, because guess what? Maths is not a subject. Maths is life, and maths is everywhere. And it's amazing how as adults, we just take for granted, we're not even making the connections between maths and life. I laughed the other day, I was following on Instagram an athlete who I strongly admire, and she just won a big world event, and she she quoted and said, yeah, I'm really excited, I'm so glad I did all those hours of algebra because look, it's really got me places. And she was obviously being sarcastic, and I wanted to write to her personally and say, my goodness, so this athlete does CrossFit, and I don't know if you're familiar with CrossFit, there's a lot of weightlifting involved. One of the workouts that she had to do in this competition was to move a certain amount of weight in a certain amount of time. She had to calculate how many repetitions she would get at that weight before fatiguing to get the highest result at the end. Now, she didn't know that before she started. She had to quickly calculate. I'm like, to me, that is a pretty advanced algebraic equation right there. There was a lot of X and Y factors for her to win that event. But she had not made any connection whatsoever to that being algebra. So this is where I think we as parents have a very important role, more important than the teachers in the classroom, because kids are in the classroom and they're learning as at school, and that's where they learn, and they're not necessarily connecting that to life, whereas we as teachers can connect the maths to life. My son is 6 years old, and most parents will shudder at the thought of taking children shopping. I love going and doing the grocery shopping with my son. I tell him at the start, we have a look at the balance in our food. We have it's not from the Resi, the Barefoot Investor, but the other one, you have your little account for food shopping, and I show him that balance. So while we're going around, we're estimating how much it's our trolley going to cost, and are we going to be under budget, and we can't have this week, or we can that week. But the point is, he's got, not only is it a financial numeracy, but to him it's just normal to talk about maths, because it's relevant to life. So I think I'm going to give you guys now some really cool parenting tips on how to make maths meaningful, but it's also going to make your home life a little bit more harmonious. I do, as a side note, I do workshops on parenting, on strategies for bouncing boys and managing a harmonious house, etc., etc. So I'm going to give you some specific maths strategies now that not only are going to help your kids with their maths and their language, but it's also going to help you guys as parents maybe not have so many moments of the nagging mum or the growling, etc. But before we do, I'm clearly very excited about maths. You are clearly just sitting there watching me. So let's play a game, and the kids will love this. I'm glad there's kids in the room, because this is the difference between adults and children. Kids yes, we're going to get up and do something else. Should make us stand up again. But guys, this is obviously something you can take home. I'm going to give you 3 practical things to take home today. 1, this game. 2, the tips I'm going to give you on making your house a bit more harmonious through maths. And 3, I've actually got a project, you'll love this, a home project maths sheet to take home and do with the kids, which is, it's not a homework project, it's hopefully a bit of fun. But parents, when you read between the lines on the project sheet, you can high-five me and thank me later, as it is based around washing. So, at the end, the kids are bad. So, the first thing is this game. So, now Jacinta, I expect you to be an expert because we did play this last night, and Charlie, you can join in tonight too. I think you were filming last night. So, the game is, and watch where the kids take this, this is really cool. Alright, kids listening, I'm going to give you a number. You're going to move your body to get to that number. Do you guys want to come and play too? You can. Come on in, you can. Alright, okay. Do you want to come and be my special helpers out the front? See, this is the difference between children and adults. I would have to force the grown-up to come. Alright, I bet you girls know some wicked dance moves, yeah? Okay, so what we're going to do, just clarify we've never met before. This is not a setup. Randomly approaching children. So, if you move one body part, that's worth 1 point. If you move two, it's worth 2 points, okay? So I'm going to give you a number, guys, and you're going to count to that number with your body. So you might count by twos, 2, 4, 6, or you might count by, we can do our legs and our arms and our head, that would be 5s, wouldn't it? 5, 10, can you count by 5s? Yep, cool. So, I'm going to give you a number. Oh, I can see you already thinking. Very good. Because some clever ducks will go, well, I've got 10 fingers. I can count by 10s just by wriggling my fingers. All right? Does everyone understand now? I'm going to give you a number. Now, teachers in the room and parents, if anyone here has got children with learning needs or teachers of children, this is a brilliant exercise because there's always a safety of counting by ones. Every child can be successful at this game. So if they get stuck, they'll just go to counting by 1, 2, 3, or tapping their foot. Or if as they get more confident, they can count by 2s, or 10, 20, 30. So it's quite, and then you watch it's very open-ended obviously, so children can extend to some quite high levels. So I'm going to give you guys the number 34. Alright, so I want everybody to stand up, have a bit of a think. How are we going to get to number 34 by moving our bodies? So do you understand what to do? Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to come up with a bit of a routine. Alright, so everybody should be moving. You can go by 1. You can move 5 fingers or 10, or you can move toes and fingers at the same time. But that would be 20, wouldn't it? Yeah? Good job, yes. This is some good moves here. Can you think of a move? Alright, have you already got it in your head? You don't even need to practice. Whoa. Oh, and then we could have a move for division, divided by. That's it. Alright, I love this, we've got some very good confidence here. Can you show us 34? Did you practice it? Okay, let's go. What are we going to do here? Now can you say, please, each letter number as you're doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
20, 10, 32, 34.
Brilliant, you're a class, well done. What's your name?
Okay.
Very good. Alright, let's get someone else. Do you want to come and show us yours? Did you get to 34? Do you want to come and have a show? Show us how you got to 34. So thanks everyone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And so here you can see there's a really good conversation you can have, that will work. You will get to 34 that way. That was excellent. All the way to 34. You should have to swap arms because you'll probably get a tired arm, won't you? Oh, that's okay. That's all right. What about Mum's up here? Did you get to 34? Would you want to come and show us? Yep. Right.
10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Excellent. Very good. All right. So as you can see, guys, it's the game that the kids can play, and obviously as they get better at it, more confident with their dance moves. And like I mentioned last night, imagine if we gave, say, a move like the floss. Can you girls floss? Yeah, here we go. See what I mean? So let's say that's worth 7. Instantly kids are going 7, 4, 7's counting pattern. And then if we throw a dab in as well, so they could go floss, 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 dab, floss, and the dab might be worth, what would a dab be? 1, 2, 3. So we make a dab worth 3 points. So suddenly we've got some cool dance moves, some very quick calculations, which kids will actually get faster and faster at because the math has got a meaning to it and the movement is more exciting than the math. Same with, I mentioned last night, obviously with AFL football. Now what are you playing out there? What sport? AFL? Yeah, great. So what are you really good at counting at?
10.
Well, what if you get a goal in footy? What do you get? How many points? 6. So you guys must be pretty good at counting by 6s, yeah? Excellent. So and anyone who can count by sixes, can I have a high five? Thank you very much. You're awesome assistants. That's all right, girls. You can go and sit down now. Are they allowed to have a highlighter? Charlie, can they take a highlighter on the way out there? All right, now, okay, so we're a little bit sidetracked there, that's all right. So the point is to try and, obviously show you to have exciting and fun through maths, make it open-ended. Now, parents, the second thing, so the first thing was a game. The second thing I'm going to give you now, this is the genius of being able to use maths to help manage behaviour in the home. So, I'm going to use analogue time as a concept here because the teachers in the room will vouch here that it's one of the biggest areas of the maths curriculum with holes in it. We get a lot of children who just do not grasp the concepts of analogue time. Because in the classroom it's taught on worksheets with pictures of clocks and what time does it say on the clock. And the teacher will go through, by no means am I criticising teachers here at all, I'm a teacher of many years myself. We, it's, even as much as you talk about the time, it's still a concept children don't grasp. So parents in the room, if you do not have an analogue clock in your house, please, I'm giving you permission to go to Kmart, right? We love Kmart. Kmart shop, you'll go in there for a clock, you'll come out with a lot more cool stuff. But yeah, very cheap in Kmart. Buy an analogue clock. If your child once might be a reward. My son, I rewarded him at home when he could tell certain times on the clock that I was let him get a wristwatch. And he now wears a wristwatch very proudly because he can tell the time. So, analogue clock to start with. Then we talk about bedtime. Now parents, how many of you in the room have used the saying, come on, it's nearly bedtime, hurry up, it's nearly bedtime. Very simple change in our vocabulary. We, instead of saying 10 minutes till bedtime, say to your children, how long until bedtime? And then we'll go to the clock, you can work together, you can have a look whether it be 20 minutes till bedtime, 5 minutes, 10, etc. Now, here is the beauty of this, the digital timer. Most of you have a mobile phone, all mobile phones have a digital timer on them. So once you have established with your child there's 10 minutes, you can then have a conversation with them about what jobs they have to do before bed. Brush teeth, put their pyjamas on, pick out a story, whatever your bedtime routine is. Now, you then ask your child how long will that take them to do those things. We don't want them to rush brushing their teeth, of course, that is not a race. But we say, let's say they say 4 minutes. So let the child set the timer. It's very important that they have ownership here. Even with the jobs of brushing your teeth, they love writing on whiteboards and things like that. So if you've got a little whiteboard on the fridge, quick, go and write down, what have we got to do before bed? Write it down, you put your time up there. Now set the timer. Ready, set, go. And you watch. They will love it. It's a race against themselves or siblings. You can have a total race, but don't race brushing your teeth, boys. Very important. 3-minute egg time for teeth. Yep, so the kids, the timer is holding them accountable, not the parents. And this works very well in many situations, whether it be getting ready for school, getting ready for bed, getting ready, etc. And it takes away the nagging parent. Teachers are all over this, on the smart boards in the classroom. It's a great, most teachers have got a list on the board of what has to be done in what order. And the smart board timer can come on. And again, the teacher's not yelling at the kids. However, the kids can look at the board and know exactly on that countdown how long they've got to go. Girls are a little bit different. Boys are very task orientated in regards to competitive and timing. Some girls will not care at all that there's a timer going, but they're very reward orientated. So I found that with a girl, if you attach to it, okay, if you get this done in 3 minutes, you've got 7 minutes, I'll get down your Play-Doh or I'll get out your beading or whatnot, and then we've got 6 minutes of craft time or whatnot. And then the girls are quite orientated to, or extra time to read their book. They're quite happy with an external reward like that. So there's ways around it, but have a go. And then the teachers can think, and suddenly we have a classroom of children who understand time because it's meaningful to them. So then again, we're linking maths to real life. Now, speaking of time, I'm sure I've gone well over. I'm sorry, Charlie, so I will wrap it up there. But I have, as I said, I'll just quickly show the project sheet. I brought out for tonight. So please take one of these home. It's called the Great Peg Project. Read between the lines, parents, they're going to do the watching for you, okay? But it's all about maths, open-ended, a lot of fun as a family. It's not meant to be a project homework, it's supposed to be fun and help the kids, obviously, with chores around the house. Last night, as Jacinta mentioned, I'm sure she's going to mention tonight, maths, anything can be made into a maths equation, whether it be hanging out the washing, and because that's because maths is everywhere. So please, guys, think about the way you're talking about maths. Think about, instead of telling the kids, hurry up, this, that, the other, to give them an actual time, make it a connection to a real mathematical concept. And it's amazing that how much your children will start thinking of maths as a language, not just as a subject at school. So anyway, thank you for having me. I've got lots of information on for parent workshops, incursions in the schools, and obviously the whole Buster Burpee program. So I'm happy to have a chat with you afterwards about all that. But thanks for having me, and I'm sure